it's MK and I am back with Baby Got Scraps. Also, I am playing along with She's Crafty. I believe this is week 4? 1, 2, 3. Week 4, yes. And she has a sketch. Please hold, I apologize. Oh, I had it up. Check it out. It's a Hip Kit Club sketch. It is a little bit too white spacey for me, and so I'm going to do an adaptation of said sketch. And on my desk I have scraps from my 6x6 paper pads for Baby Got Scraps. I also have full-size sheets of 6x6 for She's Crafty. And then I have 2 cut files and a bunch of embellishments, all from my Creative Cuts Kit Club. Whew, it's a mouthful. I used this cut file in a Facebook Live that I did just to show how you can turn a cut file and make it look metal. Okay, I did all that. And then I have had a bunch of requests on how to show how I back a cut file. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to take all of these scraps, all of these pieces, and back this cut file for you guys. So that's going to be my main piece. I also have all the little trinkets and things, the numbers for the inside of my clock, and a couple other little tidbits that Kristina always likes to put in the kit for us. So I have all of those. I probably won't use everything in the little bag, but I just brought it in because it's got all the pieces for my clock in it. The stamp set also came with the kit. I think there was 2 choices, but I ended up with the stamp set because I always forget to tell her what I want, and so she just throws it in and I get what I get. Fair enough. I also have a bunch of leaves that are left over from my paper pumpkin kit that I did. I have circles left over from my science paper or pages layouts that I did, and I have little brown pieces left over from my safari page that I did. See, lots of pieces. I'd rather use what I have in front of me than continuously keep bringing in more stuff. I don't know where the black came from, but hey, it's there. I might actually, I think I brought it in to use it here. I think I did. No, I didn't. Why did I bring the black? I don't know. So we will see why I brought the black in. And then I also wanted to tell you guys that I have 3 photos right here. And the sketch is only showing the 1 photo. So what I plan on doing is what's called a flip flap. Now, close to my heart calls them flip flaps, just like so. These ones are in 4x6, and there's 2 different orientations. This one here flips up vertically, or you can lay it this way and it flips out vertically. Or these ones here, they flip up horizontally, or if you have a vertical photo, they flip this way. Okay, so there's 2 different sizes, and I think that's really cool how they flip like that. Mine's going to flip this way. Okay, and I'm actually going to have these 2 pieces in my flip flap, just like so. So this will be the main focal photo, even though this is the one that's going to get glued down to the layout, because that's how a flip flap works. You put it over on top, and then you flip it up, and you have your 2 photos. Okay, so this is the photo that we will be working with. I will come back on this one and show you guys how I finish this one out. Because it is part of the layout, whether or not, even though this is attached to the page protector, it's part of this layout, okay? But first, I am going to go and I'm going to cut this cut file, or no, I'm not. I'm going to back this cut file for those that have asked multiple times on how to back a cut file. So I've got 4 pieces of paper picked out, or 4 colors, I should say. And I've got green for my leaves, I've got blue for my flowers, and then I've got this gorgeous wood grain for my clock face, and then I have this brown for my clock accents. Okay, so this is how my clock is kind of sort of ish going to look. And then I also have all of the inner bits of my clock right here in this baggie that will end up glued down on those as well. All right, I'm not sure if I'm going to use the stamp set or not, because based on this sketch, it is very, very white space. That's too much white space for me. So I am definitely going to change it up a bit, but this will still be considered my inspiration sketch. Did I show it to you guys? I can't remember. Yeah. So anywho, get to backing a cut file, and then I will put the layout together. Let's go. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit for this part of the video. I'm not the world's best at zooming in, but the first thing I do is I put a little dab of glue behind the area that I want to back. Now, when I mean dab of glue, I'm taking you guys back to kindergarten when the teacher tells you ... not a lot. And the point, the reasoning behind that is because you don't want all that glue to be sticky and everywhere. I'm also using a pretty quick drying glue. Currently I'm using the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. It doesn't have like a fine tip, but the tip is just fine enough for me. Now what I'm doing is I am trimming away the excess paper, clearly, that I don't want behind my file. And how I do that is I tip my scissors at an angle, like I'm saying probably, I don't know, more than a 45 degree. And I don't cut straight up and down right next to the cut file. I'm actually angling it, so I'm kind of sort of cutting under the cut file. And when I show you guys the back of the cut file, as soon as I'm done with all of these green leaves, you'll see that by tipping your scissors at an angle like this, that it leaves a teeny tiny little border on the inside of the outline of your cut file. I hope that makes sense. And also along the way, any glue that seeps out, I erase it right away, because I feel like I stick my finger in it and then it gets sticky all over my entire project. And so throughout this whole recording, I do, you end up erasing little bits and pieces here. So I am going, I believe, only at 4 times this one, because if I would have went at regular speed, oh my gosh, snoozeville. So I did speed it up just a little bit in order for you guys to like get the concept of how to back a cut file, but really not fall asleep during how to cut a cut file or back a cut file. Yeah. It's not very entertaining stuff. It's just like watching paint dry, really, but it does take practice. The amount of glue that you put behind your cut file and for the other piece is definitely, it takes practice, because it's how much is too much. And also that, don't go run out and buy a different kind of glue. See what it takes for yours. Like for me, the glue that I had before I was introduced to Nouveau Deluxe, I basically just put my paper behind the cut file and then waited, just walked away from it for a little bit and waited until I knew it was good and dried, and then I would go ahead and cut it. Don't be in a hurry. By all means, do not be in a hurry when it comes to backing a cut file, and start off simple. Really start off as simple as you possibly can, because it's, it does take practice, and it takes a feel for, what you like. Like for me, I started off with, a really simple image, and I basically kept my colors really, really plain. And I didn't move on to these more intricate images until I was like satisfied with how my technique was. If it's a technique, I'm gluing paper to paper. It's not really a technique, but it kind of is. It depends on, how you want it to look. And, like I always tell my kids, the more you practice, the better you get at it. But start off small. Don't start with, no offense, but a Paige Evans design and try to fill in all those little gaps. So here's the back of my cut file and what the angling of the scissors do. Do you see that really fine white line all the way around? Because my paper is now kind of behind instead of cut flush with my design. And I think that that helps with the cleanliness of how your papers look. Now I did speed it up about 10 times faster because of the fact that I wanted you guys to see me back the cut file, but I didn't really think that I needed to keep going that slow. It's all the same thing no matter what the image is. I'm angling my scissors, I'm putting barely any glue, but I do, go in with my glue eraser and definitely erase the spots right away. I don't wait until I'm completely done. It drives me nuts. So this side of the flowers was a lot bigger, and my scraps were not big enough. So I do have to do this in 3 different sections. So I picked a spot on the flower that divided in half fairly nicely. And now I'm just doing the other half of the flower. And I kind of get a little lazy when it, like a large chunk of paper is behind another large chunk of paper and you're not going to see it. I don't bother cutting that off. You're not going to see it. So I just leave it there. It doesn't bother me, and nobody will know it's there. Once I glue it to the page, no way. So yeah, I take shortcuts where I can. And so I wanted my clock face to be this gorgeous wood grain. I wanted it to look like it was a wooden clock, or stopwatch, I guess I should say. And so yeah, I put my cut file right in the center of this wood grain, because I wanted one of the rings to be this dark brown, and I did not know how to do it. I debated, well, should I do the dark brown first and then just glue everything to the light brown wood grain, or should I do it the way that I did it? And of course I did it the way that I chose to do it, because I like to make things hard on myself. That's all I have. Yeah, that's all I have. I have no other excuse. I should have done the wood, or the dark brown first and cut out that small little circle and then just glued everything, and it would have made it so much thicker. But it does end up being uber super thick. It really, really does. And one of my favorite things about a finished cut file is how sturdy it is, because you used all that liquid glue. And when the liquid glue dries, it's like iron. I mean, it's solid, and that is my favorite thing after a finished cut file is, that it's not a flimsy file anymore. It is a solid piece of artwork, and I loved it, you guys. I love it. So yeah, I am just doing the tiny little details. At first I was going to do all of this in dark brown. I wasn't even going to do a second thought. And now I'm deciding, how do I want to finish this off? And I'm glad that I decided to take the time and do all of these little extra steps. I think that it turned out really, really good. I was debating about going and getting some sort of glitter paper to put on the little knob that changes the time. And I thought, no, nobody's really going to see it. And I don't want to add glitter anywhere else to my lamp. Now, this piece here, if I would have put glue on the knob and then around the handle, I would not have been able to cut out the inner circle. It would have been a nightmare. And so basically what I did was I glued the bottom, I just glued around the circle, or whatever that thing is called, the handle ring bit. I just glued it down from edge to edge, and I didn't glue anything in the center so I could cut it out. And by the time I'm done talking about it, I've moved on. So now I am just doing my numbers. I didn't know any other way to do this, so I am just trying to make sure I'm using this tiny little ruler by My Sweet Petunia. And I'm just making sure that the numbers kind of are the same. Like I want this number to be at the same level as this number, and so on and so forth. But the little dashes around the clock kind of don't add up. So when I put in the number 10, I did put it a little bit lower than the number 2, but I like it because now my 11 and my 1 matched up. So it's like, oh, how did that work? I don't know, but I like it. And by the time that I put my photos on, nobody's going to see it. Isn't that weird? So anyways, just making sure that everything is glued down and secured. And here is the finished piece. I hope I answered a couple of your questions. Honestly, there isn't much to do with a cut file. It is just take it small. Start off very, very simple. Get a cut file that might need 2 pieces of paper and start there. Don't start with something intricate, even though I know that that's where I wanted to start. Get your rhythm first and then start with, the more intricate cut files, and then go to the more intricate cut files. So I have picked out some other 6x6 papers to back my photos because I didn't realize I didn't do that. And I decided to go with this dark green. I was going to do a really lime green because I love lime green, but I decided, no, I don't want to take away from my cool little clock. And then I'm taking just these gears that I had left over and meshing them back with the clock. These gears are representing my heart, and then the clock is going to be my title. I know, it's a huge title. But I just can't do all that white space, you guys. It's not in my blood. I love all the things, and I try my hardest to do a white space layout, and it just looks terrible to me. And by the time I'm done, there's no white space left. So anyways, I'm taking all of these little leaves that I got from my paper pumpkin kit and just randomly putting them all over the layout. I want to intermix them in with the cut file leaves because I wanted them to look like it was, like it's part of the cut file. But why did I pick these leaves? Because every time that I see dinosaur bones and they're in like a scenario type scene, there's ferns all around them. So I don't know if a fern is like the oldest living plant out there and it's survived the dinosaurs. But have you guys ever noticed that? Like there's ferns everywhere. I'm not sure if exactly what type of ferns. I don't know, what it is, but every dinosaur picture I have, there is these types of leafy greens around them. And so I thought, hey, this is going to be perfect because with my main photo that's actually going to be on top of my flip flap, there's like 4 or 5 ferns in that photo. And so it'll kind of blend in and make it look like it's, that this was all on purpose. And that's where I got my inspiration, was from my photo. So I just look and see what's in my photo and I run with it. I do love how it looks like all these gears and this pocket watch are laying in a bed of leaves. I really like that. But yeah, it's pretty simple. I am just now securing all of those leaves, in and around my cut file, my pictures, my gears, all that stuff. But you guys will see exactly why, what's with gears and dinosaurs. Deers. Yep. Deers and dinosaurs. It'll come soon once I put an actual real title down. The clock is just not my title, but you guys will get it. So those 3 separate gears, I actually cut those from the circle ring that I had at the beginning of the video. I cut them and then I tucked them around so you guys couldn't see them. And then what I did there was I took my alcohol marker to these black, like glitter. They were kind of like a weird glitter, alpha sticker, and I kind of toned them into a green. You can't really see it, but in real life it's kind of like, oh, that's like a dark green. That's kind of cool. Yeah, it is. So I just, my title's nice and small, and I wanted it to be a part of the clock, and it says Frozen in Time. It is kind of crooked, but I do fix it, I promise. And now I am just making sure everything is secured on the main page, and I'm going to move on to my flip flap, which is kind of just like a 4x6 pocket page, but I am going to take it and glue it, use that adhesive strip, that white obnoxious strip on there, and glue it to my page protector right where my photo that is adhered to the page is stationed, so they'll overlap each other. And of course I didn't check to make sure that my words were going the right direction, so I have to peel it up and put it back down. So the best part to do that, so you're not ripping your paper, especially if you're limited on paper, is to twist. Don't lift straight up. twist your glue. Try to get something underneath to allow you to twist. So here are those little circle images that I brought in at the beginning. I bet you guys thought I forgot about them. Haha. And then these clocks and that other gear that I kind of stuck on the layout, those were from yesterday's leftovers. And right now I'm just taking this wood, this brown piece and covering some obnoxious spots that are in my photos. And trying to bring your guys' eye into what I want you to look at. So I like doing this with all of my pocket pages is, taking the dead space or the obnoxious, awful stuff that nobody wants to see and covering it up with just a small little teeny tiny little embellishment. I really, really like it. So, and I've got lots of them here on these ones. So I took that gear off of the main, on these ones, on the photos. Ugh, finish your sentence, girlfriend. I took that gear off the main photo or the main layout and decided that I wanted it here just because I didn't want two clocks on both sides. And I'm actually going to use this brown strip and my clock to cover an obnoxious light that is in my photos, in my layouts photo. So I'm going to go through this book by Kaiser Craft. It's from, I think it's just from Workshop. And it's just laying on my desk waiting for me to finish Baby Got Scraps, which, in January, I'm going to be sad. What do I do with all my scraps if I have any left over? But yeah, I just went through, I picked out 2 little stickers that I was looking for something with the word time in it. And the one thing that I found was way, way too big. So I found a little thing that says moments and then just this little label type thing. And so I made a small little cluster down at the bottom. And now I'm just going to show you really quickly how the flip flap is going to work. So I'm going to glue it or adhere it to my page protector just like this with this little white strip right here. So it's clear. Once you take that white strip off, it is perfectly clear and it won't take up your photos or anything like that. So, and that's it. I am done. I had a blast creating this layout. It was super fast and super fun. I hope you guys learned something about backing a cut file, and make sure that you check out everyone else that is playing along with us during Baby Got Scraps, and I will see you guys tomorrow.